Hey, what's up you guys? As you can see, it's almost 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so good evening to you all. Well, that was kind of a weird introduction to this vlog of today. Anyhow, I was on my way to the mailbox. Usually on Monday they tend to not send any mail, but we usually get a lot of, what was the word? Advertising brochures. That's it. I had to look it up on Google Translate. Um, but they, especially with times like Sinterklaas, which has already been gone, but also Christmas and that sort of stuff, they tend to send out a lot of more advertising brochures than normal. And usually we can get up to this thick packages of it. So before the mailbox clogs, I just want to go downstairs and see what's in there. Oh well, that's no advertising brochures yet, so I'll have to go again when I have a suspicion that there is something. Anyhow, how's the weather with you guys? In the Netherlands it's cold, it's rainy, but you can hear me complain, because usually in summer you do hear me complain about the heat. As I always say, in winter you can adjust to the temperature because of the simple fact that you could add more clothes. But in summer, there is the problem of that you can't get more clothes off than you have on when it gets too warm. When it gets too warm, I have to find a way to cool off otherwise. Alright, now that was pretty dumb. I assumed that my camera had enough juice for a whole day, but apparently when I just walked up from the mailbox, it turned out my battery icon was blinking and that the battery was nearly dying. So you guys are currently hooked up to a USB charger with a few cables attached to it so I can easily get my camera in front of my face again. But what I wanted to tell you guys is this morning I was job hunting because if you've seen the previous video, you know that I lost my job back in August. But I'm job hunting specifically and basically for a job in the IT or ICT, or if possible, a store that sells things like laptops, GSMs, network routers, that sort of stuff. Because most of the time the work that I've done is a call center agent, and basically I love helping people out with things that don't seem to work. Last company I worked for was an internet company, and I supported people in getting their internet working, or when they had trouble with their Wi-Fi I would look into that or that sort of stuff. But I'm also kind of looking for companies that use a lot of social media these days. The reason for that is, in my opinion, if you are a company that is not using social media today, or at least not to its fullest, you're not giving your customers a full support experience. When I started working at a company that sells ATM/credit card machines and also internal payment systems, if you know from the Netherlands the OV chip card, you can compare it to that. There was no Twitter, no Facebook, at least not that I know of, and definitely no YouTube. Those were things that were kind of introduced at around 2005 and 2006. Now when I got hooked to that in 2010, I was still working at that company, but instead of embracing the new things like Twitter, like YouTube, they would not look into that, and they would a lot of times ask me to just stop using it while I'm at work, because of the simple fact that it would influence my work. I wouldn't always totally agree, but at the time I was basically also thinking, instead of asking me to quit with it, why don't you guys give me a chance to show you what you basically can do with YouTube and Twitter in form of support. On YouTube you can post videos of setting up your ATM machine, how to repair certain things with it. Through Twitter you can post those links again, you can answer questions more fastly than you would be able to on a telephone. And even nowadays, also the last company that I worked for, still a lot of companies use a telephone number that their customers have to call to get support. And sometimes it's a 0800 number, that means it's free, but also a lot of times it's a 0900 number, and that means that customers are gonna pay for the telephone cost because they're calling you. Some people don't mind. Other people will go on an instant rage when they call you and they get someone on the phone, why they have to pay for their support. And that's basically why I'm looking for companies that will also do Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, because in my opinion that can give a lot more value to customers. When I quit the job at the ATM company back in 2011, I stepped to a company that sells, as before, MP3 players, telephones, all that sort of stuff. And they were so much more into using social media for supporting their customers. On YouTube, they would do a lot of unboxing videos, reviews, and you could basically throw your questions in the comment section, and they were answered either in the comment section itself. Or a separate video would be made to explain more things. Same goes for Twitter or Facebook. They would use Facebook and still do. They would use Facebook to put up special deals for their customers, and you can respond to that, and you can also get answers from that. But the ATM company I worked for still doesn't seem to do that. Back in 2011 or 12, they were bought by another company which has a Twitter account, but it's not used for support. And I'm still like, why aren't you guys using it? I'm not going to contact them over it because I'm like, short choice not doing it. But again, it can give so much more value for your customers. The only thing you have to do, if a customer asks you on Twitter, hey, how do I connect this and that to my router? You have a video on that. Tweet out the link, and your customer can watch the video. You can go on supporting other customers. As where if that customer would have to call you, chances are they would have to wait in line. The cost would rise up, and you can say, oh, you can go to our support page and find a video there. And then usually they spend more costs in contacting you for that than doing it through Twitter or Facebook. So that's basically why I'm looking for companies that do it. Haven't found many though, and usually if you find a company that does do it, they're also asking for a lot of extra papers that you have to be able to work for them. So that's kind of an imbalance there, but yeah, that's basically the jobs I'm looking for. If you are from the Netherlands, by the way, and you know a company that is somewhat close to Rotterdam at least, and that has a space free for someone that wants to go call agent or office automation. Also, being a call center agent is fun, but literally when I started out in the ICT business, it was more on a smaller scale, and with that I mean people would call an internal help desk, an internal call center, and if you could not get the problem fixed, you would relatively easily be able to go to the place where the person was and explain it to them on the spot. And that's something I'm also looking for, because I do like to help people. I can get a lot visualized, but sometimes you just come across a problem that you're like, I can't figure out what's going on, so I have to go on there. So if someone knows a company that is looking for a good call center agent or for the internal office automation stuff, ring a bell or place a comment if you can. So as I stopped the recording and went into the kitchen to get myself a drink, my mind popped a little bit. I quickly went over the last recording, and you guys have probably noticed that I repeated myself a couple of times in certain things. Now that's a little leftover from the last job I had, because when I was working there, I wanted to make 150% sure that the customer had, I can't speak, sorry. The customer that I had on the phone would absolutely understand the instruction that I gave him or her. So I would generally repeat myself 2 or 3 times to make absolutely sure that the customer did understand me. So if in the future videos I repeat myself once or twice, forgive me for that, but I'm gonna try and get that out of my system, because it makes things too long, and editing out is not always an option. So I'm gonna try to work on that, but stay with me. Alright, I just shot an extra video for you guys. It's a little shout out video for small YouTubers, for small channels at least. And with having done that, it's kind of time for me to wrap up this vlog of today. My camera's a little wobbly, sorry for that, because you guys are still on the USB cable, because my camera didn't charge too much. But nonetheless, I hope you liked the vlog. Definitely stay tuned also for the shout out video. Chances are it might go up early or late, I'm not sure. But definitely keep an eye out for that, because there are some pretty awesome channels in there that I really think should have more subscribers. But more on that video later on. I mean more about those channels in that shout out video, so definitely go watch it. And you guys are going to see me in the next vlog. Goodbye!